Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. This is the lab for ethical hacking, and this lab actually is lab number 11, and the main theme and purpose is basically using ReconNG tool or framework. And what we will going to do is we're going to be using the open source reconnaissance tool, that is ReconNG, to gather personal information, right? As I'd mentioned to you in the earlier labs, that ReconNG basically is part of an open source intelligence gathering toolkit, or that's what it basically is part of. And if you don't know what is open source intelligence, it is basically it is a collection of collection and showing of your of any data which is available down there, publicly available down there, using public resources and overt techniques and publicly available sources, as opposed to your covert or not publicly available sources, I would say. And it is not related to any open source software or public intelligence. So just to be clear, just setting the pace for the lab, and those of you who didn't did not join us in the last lab, this is just giving a little refresher for them also, right? So in this lab, we're going to again be using ReconNG, and ReconNG is a framework which I have already got you familiar with, and it is run through the terminal, right, under your Kali Linux. And so basically, let's fire up Kali Linux, and I'm using basically the version of Kali Linux here, and this is downloaded on a VirtualBox VM, and this is from downloaded from offensive security side. So I'm just going to launch the terminal. If you click on the terminal here, it'll launch up slowly. So in this lab, we're going to be talking about, for me, always ask for the admin password. So let me just get that in there, because I'm running a few things which need some access. So as I said, we'll be going through the different modules here, and then understanding how to get personal information, right, in this ReconNG lab. So now I'll show you some commands to do that. Again, ReconNG is based on modules, and so first is you get the terminal on, get into the right root, and then you type in ReconNG, right? So let's do that. And in this lab, the main module which we'll be using is the recon module, right? And to basically see see the reconnaissance attacks and so forth for our target. So let's first fire up ReconNG by tapping in recon-ng or recon-ng, and it's going to shoot up, and then it's going to change the command prompt and get you inside the tool. And you will come to know once it changes. Okay, again, this tool is written by Tim Tomes, and he is part of Black Hill InfoSec, just to let you know again. So the recon modules, the first one, if you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modules listed out here, the recon, reporting, import, exploitation, and discovery. So we'll be basically working in the recon module, right? Let's first go to type in workspaces and add a new workspace for this particular lab, and give it a friendly name. You can give it any name. Try to have it a lowercase name, I would say. Let's give it a name, social 27. All right, and hit enter. So this will create a workspace for you, and from a default workspace, now it's changed to a social 27 workspace. If you look at the first line, the command before the prompt, right? And so now a few commands which I want you to know in this particular module is first is let's load a particular command. And in this case, as I said, we'll be doing a recon module. So let's load recon, and let's do recon /domains or /domains dash hyphen contacts. And let's see, let's try to run this. So /whois. So we're going to be using whois as our source here, and we'll do whois underscore. Let's get the right command here. So goal is to get all the Okay, we are going to basically use the POC data down here for whois. So now let's run this command. Okay, cool. So let's do show info here, and show info will give us details about the whois POC harvester. That is what we are using, and this basically uses Aaron, who is RWS, to harvest the POC data from your whois queries from a given domain. And this is all the different options which I've highlighted for you. You can do a default, a string path, and a query. Let's try to use that for basically harvesting your whois POC data. All right, pretty interesting, I would say. So let's do that. So let's do git, and then we'll put source as the first thing, and then so let's just use this command the way it is. So as you see, this is a source is in capital. So let's put source in caps, as it's asking us to do that. And then there's a space, and so current value is default. So our workspace is social 27, and so we're gonna do source, and then we're gonna do social27.com as the source. So now it has basically added that source to the POC harvester for the whois, right? So now just do a run command on it, since you already had added a source here, and it should basically use the whois POC and try to get information on that particular domain which you added in, right? So, and in this case, it's the social 27 domain, and it's basically getting all the information which you needed, right? And it did not get any contacts information. So, but whatever it got was the domain itself, and it kind of validated that using your POC, right? So now let's do another thing. Let's set source to a different domain name, and mind that source always needs to be in caps. It is capital, right? And if you have any confusion, just type in show info, and it'll give you the information of how to use the command, right? And we're going to use a different domain. Let's use cybersecuritythinktank.com as a domain name here, and then just do a run on it. And it'll get you information around that new domain name which we added in, right? So a lot of domains which are like new and which should have much information, they don't show much around it. But again, let's do another domain which is a little popular, which you should see more information around it. And let's use one of the social networks down there. I would say let's use Facebook, right? And let's set. I just want to show you the results. What comes back here, right? Let's tap and run and enter. There you go. Now you can see it started doing Facebook. It's getting more information definitely from the other domains which I was tapping in before, and it's getting in all the other network information, the OPS information. So yeah. So basically, it's got all the information about the operations, the layer network ops. So it's doing that detail. The whois contact information, it pulled that out also. Then it's got other information about the different different users, the country, right? And then so yeah. So you got contact information is also there. That's pretty cool too. And Delaware is where it is. There you go. So yeah, and then of course Mark Zuckerberg is a big part of it, right? And the official mail ID of Mark Zuckerberg is also available, right? And the domain, of course, is not FB or anything. It's facebook.com. That's where it basically refers to, right? So to go back again, as I showed you before, just tap in back and it'll take you one level back, right? And now you're back into your workspaces. That is the social 27 workspace which we created for this particular lab, in the early parts of the lab, right? So let's look at some more commands for recon, right? Let's now go to, let's do a name check, right? So first thing you do is you do a load, and you go in and go into your namespaces, your workspace, your commands, and in this case your recon command, well, it's load, not loan. I don't want to loan anything here. Load, and then let me correct that for you, and then basically go recon, and we are trying to get into the different profiles. I would say recon profiles dash hyphen basically is profile, then slash name check is what we're trying to do here. So all these commands, the more you practice, you will remember them more, and you can use them more in your day-to-day reconnaissance and information gathering phases, right? And important thing is make sure that you spell things right? And mine would work out to retain profile, LES profiles, right? Yeah. And then you just say name CHK and enter. Looks like we got some spelling mistake down there. Let me just okay, names check, profiles, recon, and you can also do search and find out, but let me just correct this and see. Let me just do a quick tweak and see, what exactly could be. Okay, there you go. Instead of names, it was name. I was using an S just to be, I was getting carried away. All right. So next thing is you set up a few sources in here. So you first thing you set in name check is source here. Again, source is always in capital, and then you put in basically a name, right? And we are putting in Mark Zuckerberg in here, and let's see what kind of name check it results to, right? And there you go, source Mark Zuckerberg, and now you can do run command, and now it'll go in and do a name check on Mark Zuckerberg. So basically from a person's name, it is retrieving information about a particular site, right? And there you go, it found user existed in all these different sites out there. So basically this is a reconnaissance done on a certain person. There's PayPal, Pinterest, different kinds of websites where you could find this person, and sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not available. So it's going in and searching on the basic key resources online, and searching for that particular match of the name which you have shared, the name value pair, and getting that information out basically. So it found 41 different profiles on the web, right? On the web for that person. Look at that. That is pretty interesting, right? And this is basically the information gathering phase, as I said. So you can go in and search for anybody like that. Who are you doing penetration testing for? If there's a company, you want to go and search for a particular user, and so forth, right? But you can see all the different places where his name is available. TechnoReady, 500px. So yeah, a lot of domains out there, a lot of portals, what are web domains, I would say, public domains, where the information of this particular name, Mark Zuckerberg, is available, right? And you can basically, it could be a direct match or it could not be a direct match. It just means that entry of that particular profile using recon ng exists at those particular websites, right? Okay, now let's do one more thing. Now let's again load, not loan. I don't know why I'm typing loan. Okay, so let's do load, and then let's do again the recon module is what we focused on, right? So we're going to just stick to that in this particular lab, and let's do recon, and let's do profiles again, profiles dash or hyphen profiles, then again backslash, and then we had basically done name check before this, and I was typing in names check, so make sure you don't do that mistake also. But we're gonna do profiler here now. So let's do profiler, and in profiler again, the first thing we do is set a source whenever we try to load a command. So we do a set, and then source is always capital, SOURCE, and we're going to use again do a profiler on Mark Zuckerberg itself, because since he's a famous personality, public personality, and also he's the co-founder of Facebook, right? So let's do Mark Zuckerberg. That's all set in the profiler. Then what you do is run, right? Pretty simple, straightforward 3-step process. Now we're going to check the profiler detail when we hit run. So get ready. So now what it does is the profiler, it'll search for a username and return a match, a URL for that person. Pretty interesting, right? So wherever the domains, it's going to check the popular domains, it's going to check and return the exact URL of that public path, or of that particular match for the profile. That's the profiler tool. So this is one step further than your trace, which command which we used before. So we could first find, okay, this person is listed in 41 properties across the web. Now you want to also know the URLs to that, right? Because you want to basically go and check and see if that's the right one or not. So now using the profiler, when it comes down to Recon NG, is where you can go in and see exactly where that person exists, where that profile is on the web, and use that link or URL to basically get to the data which you're trying to get to. All right. So a couple of things down here to remember is that when you're dealing with the Recon NG and the steps for getting information, you need to make sure that you're using the right commands, right? So like as we did the name check command, it gave you a certain set of information, right? And then you could go further into and do the profiler command and get like much more information, that is like the links and so forth, right? So running into commands, making use of commands, those are some of the key things which you need to need to be very well aware of, right? All right. So also the URLs which you get, those are like very valid, of course. And then run command is always to be used when you're trying to run a particular profile name check or something like that, and that gives you a good understanding about how you mine a certain set of information. All right. And then other things which so we got like a lot of matches down here. So now so profiler is another thing. Another way to look at information. Let's look at another Recon way. So you can actually get different ways, different views while using different different commands. So let's do a back, and then let's go to now you're done with profiler. Let's load another Recon command, right? So you do Recon, and then let's do reporting this time. So let's do load reporting and backslash and do HTML and hit enter. And now you have your reporting module, which you have not been seen in the past. So you can read reports down here basically, and you can read different kinds of reports about what all information you have done, especially with the personal information, right? And reporting is a pretty key element for a particular site, I would say, right? So you can get a lot of information while doing while looking into profiles, while doing name check, while doing reports. So these kind of techniques are pretty good for you to know and to understand how you can do reconnaissance on a particular target, how you can get personal information on a particular target, and how you can use that data for your information gathering phases, right? Okay. Well, I hope you had a great time going through this particular lab, and I will see you in the next lab. All right. Thanks for joining.